10 things the world gets totally wrong about Britain. Britain. The land of tea, bad weather and stiff upper lips. Or so the world thinks. From Hollywood stereotypes to viral internet memes, the UK is often painted with a very broad brush. But how accurate are these global perceptions? Are Brits really obsessed with queuing? Is the food truly terrible? And does it actually rain every day? In this video, we're busting the biggest myths about Britain and showing you what life is really like behind the clichés. Here are 10 things the rest of the world gets totally wrong about Britain, and you might be surprised by what you learn. 10. It always rains in Britain. Let's settle this once and for all. Britain does not live under a constant rain cloud. Yes, the weather can be a little unpredictable, and it's true that you might want to pack an umbrella just in case. But the myth that it's always raining is one of the most exaggerated stereotypes about the UK. In fact, London receives less rainfall annually than cities like New York, Rome, or Sydney. Areas like East Anglia and the South East can go weeks, yes, actual weeks without rain. What throws people off is the sheer frequency of grey skies and light showers. It's not that it rains a lot, it's just that it rains a little often. British weather can change rapidly. A sunny morning can turn into a drizzly afternoon and back again. But talk to any Brit and they'll tell you they've mastered the art of layering and weather-based small talk. The British obsession with the forecast? Totally real. The idea that it's always pouring? Totally false. 9. Everyone has a posh accent. Blame the BBC or every Hollywood film featuring a British villain in a tuxedo. But there's a global misconception that Brits all sound like they were raised in castles. In reality, the UK is a dialectical wonderland. From thick Scouse in Liverpool to sing-song Welsh in Cardiff, and from the fast-paced speech of Glaswegians to the rolling vowels of West Country farmers, accents shift dramatically every few miles. You can drive an hour and find 3 completely different ways of saying the word water. The so-called posh accent, known formally as received pronunciation, RP, is actually rare in day-to-day life. Even members of the royal family have relaxed their speech over the years. In short, the UK doesn't have one accent. It has hundreds. 8. Brits are emotionless or cold. The idea of the emotionally repressed Brit is one of the most persistent stereotypes about the UK. Movies and TV shows often depict them as emotionally frozen, stoic to a fault, incapable of showing feelings unless under extreme duress. But this couldn't be further from the truth. What people often mistake for coldness is simply a cultural difference. British people value subtlety and often express care in understated ways, like making you a cup of tea when you're upset or quietly checking in with "Are you all right?" which, by the way, means "How are you?" not "Are you injured?" They may not be effusive huggers or oversharers, but behind the polite exterior is a deep well of loyalty, empathy, and humour. British warmth doesn't come with a bow on it, but it's there if you know where to look. 7. The food is terrible. Let's be honest, this one had some truth to it about 70 years ago. Post-war rationing and overboiled vegetables gave British cuisine a bit of a bad rep. But modern Britain has undergone a culinary renaissance. Yes, you'll still find classic staples like shepherd's pie, sausage rolls, and roast dinners. But you'll also find one of the world's most diverse food scenes. London is a global food capital with everything from Michelin-starred Indian restaurants to West African supper clubs. Cities like Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow are foodie hotspots too. Britain's colonial history and immigration waves have shaped its menus. Curry is practically a national dish. You're just as likely to find sushi, falafel, or pad thai on the high street as you are a full English breakfast. 6. Brits drink tea all day long. While tea is undeniably a beloved British ritual, it's not quite the national addiction people think it is. The image of Brits sipping endless cups of Earl Grey with their pinkies out is more fiction than fact. Modern Britain has embraced coffee culture in a big way. Walk through any city and you'll see independent espresso bars, hipster cafes, and a Starbucks or Costa on every corner. Young professionals now start their day with flat whites, not just builder's tea. Still, the cultural symbolism of tea remains strong. Offering someone a cuppa is shorthand for "I care," and it's still a staple in homes, hospitals, and workplaces. But don't expect every Brit to carry a thermos of PG tips wherever they go. 5. Everyone lives in a castle or a thatched cottage. This myth might be charming, but it's wildly inaccurate. Not every Brit lives in a Cotswolds cottage or a turreted manor house surrounded by sheep. The majority live in suburban, semi-detached homes, modern flats, or urban terrace housing. In fact, the UK faces a serious housing crisis. Property prices in London and the South East are astronomical, and there's a chronic shortage of affordable housing. Council estates, government-subsidised housing blocks, are home to millions. While castles and cottages do exist and make for great Instagram posts, they are the exception, not the rule. The average Brit is far more likely to live near a Tesco than a turret. 4. All Brits are obsessed with the royal family. The monarchy is often seen as synonymous with British identity, but not all Brits are royalists. In fact, views on the royal family are increasingly mixed, especially among younger people. Yes, royal weddings, jubilees, and coronations draw national attention, but that doesn't mean every household has a portrait of the Queen, or now King Charles, above the fireplace. Many Brits are indifferent, and a significant number question the monarchy's relevance in modern society. For some, it's a symbol of tradition. For others, it's outdated. Britain's relationship with royalty is complicated, and definitely not as uniform as the tabloids make it seem. 3. British people are always polite. British politeness is famous but misunderstood. Yes, Brits say please, thank you, and sorry more than most. But that doesn't mean they're always kind. In reality, politeness in the UK is often a way of managing social discomfort. Saying sorry when someone else steps on your foot is a classic British coping mechanism. And don't let the smiles fool you. Sarcasm, passive-aggressiveness, and sharp wit can be part of the culture too. Tone and context matter. That's brave could mean that's awful. Interesting might mean I hate it. Understanding British communication means reading between the lines, something tourists often miss. 2. The UK is just London. London gets all the international attention, and it is iconic, no doubt. But it's only a slice of what the UK has to offer. Britain is made up of 4 nations and countless regions, each with its own culture, dialect, and vibe. Want indie music and culture? Head to Manchester. Want castles and coastlines? Try Wales. For historic charm and literary legends, go to Edinburgh. Fancy a pint in a pub that feels like a second living room? Try Newcastle or Leeds. From Cornwall's cliffs to the Scottish Highlands, Britain's diversity is stunning. Thinking the UK is just London is like saying the US is only New York. 1. British culture is all tradition and no fun. The world sees Britain as formal and buttoned up, but scratch beneath the surface and you'll find a country bursting with creativity, humour, and joy. Brits invented punk rock, James Bond, and Monty Python. They host one of the world's wildest festivals, Glastonbury, and celebrate everything from Caribbean culture at Notting Hill Carnival to cheese rolling in Gloucestershire. Yes, tradition is a part of the national DNA, but so is reinvention. British culture is constantly evolving, mixing history with rebellion and formality with absurdity. It's a land of bowler hats and bucket hats, often on the same street. Britain isn't just tea, rain, and royal weddings. It's a country of contradictions. Formal yet funny, traditional yet diverse. These common myths about Britain oversimplify a rich and complex culture. The truth? Real British life is far more layered, dynamic, and surprising than the stereotypes ever suggest. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.